The Antonio Project present Electric Motor Abnormal Sound Investigation. How to check the condition of the motor, whether it is in good condition or not. At first, listening the sound of the motor using stethoscope or sound bar. And 2. Feeling or measuring the temperature around the motor body. And 3. Measure the vibration of the motor using hand or vibration monitor equipment. In this case, after confirm that the abnormal sound comes from the motor by using soundbar, we continue to check the vibration of the motor using handheld vibration measurement tools. The instrument used for the measurement is Leonova Emerald. I will review this instrument in my next video. Anyway, don't forget to watch the video. As per the measurement result for the vibration, the value is 20.59 micrometer for displacement, 2.08 millimeter per second for velocity, and 7.92 meter per second for accelerometer. After confirm that the motor soundness and vibration is abnormal, then change over the running pump with the standby one to make the further investigation. And next, check newly running motor to confirm the condition is under good condition before continuously in service. The vibration measurement result for standby pump is 3.66 micrometer for displacement, 0.54 millimeter per second for velocity, and 0.42 meter per second for accelerometer. Before carry out any work on the electric motor, make sure that electricity has been cut off. Make sure the correct control panel being isolated to prevent any further trouble. Breaker off the power source and put LOTO or lockout tag out. And next, prepare all necessary tools and lifting equipment to the skin. Make sure that the lifting equipment safe working limit or SWR or working load limit or WLL is more than the weight of the motor. Before disassembling of the motor from the part, don't forget to put marking on each connection and the cabling position. This is to make easier during the assembling. Reconfirm the electricity of the cable source by measuring the cable voltage by using multimeter and confirm that the value is 0 volt. After all cable confirmed under 0 volt, then it can be disconnected from the terminal. Fit on the lifting equipment like a shackle, nylon lifting sling and so on in proper place in order to balancing the weight of the motor during lifting. During lifting any heavy object, always follow the order from one conductor or the leader for safe and smooth lifting process. Before disassembly of the motor, don't forget to put marking on each connection to make easy during assembling. You can use pen marker or tungsten tip pen for marking the motor. Just make sure that the marked position is not disappear during cleaning. Place the motor on the clean and soft place. In this case, we are using used blanket for layering wooden table bands.
checking the connection and the coupling and others. So when we are setting back this as that
Start the disassembling process from the coupling and cooling fan. By using of the bearing puller, draw out the coupling from the shaft carefully. Place all the removable key, coupling and so on to the one container or box in order to prevent missing of the said part. After the cooling fan and coupling has been drawn out, then unscrew all the bolts for the cover. Remove the non-drive end cover carefully. Use wooden block or copper hammer to remove the cover by slightly hammering to the cover ears. Slightly hammering of the non-drive end cover evenly in order to draw out the cover smoothly and also to prevent damage of the rotor and coil on the stator. Replace the motor vertically above the wooden block. This is to avoid the rotor touching the stator body to prevent the shaft and casing from bending or damage.
So this motor bearing is jammed. This cannot turn.
After NDE cover is free from the body, then open the DE cover. Slowly and carefully draw out the rotor to avoid touching the stator body. Hold shaft end of the NDE in other side. Pull out the DE end shaft slowly and simultaneously. Remove the retainer ring from the cover bearing housing by using snapping plier, then slightly hammering the cover in order to free the bearing. Next step is draw out the ball bearing from the shaft using bearing tracker or puller. Attach the bearing tracker or puller to the bearing and turn clockwise the tightening bolt in order to draw out the bearing. Be careful during taking out ball bearing, since the rotor material is made from soft steel. It is very easy to get damage or scratch.
Non-drive end side, the bearing is stuck there. That's why the abnormal sound coming out from the motor. For drive end, this is good condition. But since the non-drive end bearing is damaged, so we necessary to replace both of the bearing, drive end and non-drive end. Item necessary to be checked up during replacement of bearing or any damage on the bearing. So the bearing housing to be checked whether it is loose or not. So in this condition that the bearing housing is still in good condition. So both sides of bearing housing is condition. shaft side, is there any damage or not on the bearing seat, on the bearing seating. So we are checking. All is good. Also other thing is the motor. We will check the insulation for the motor after completion of the replacement of the motor bearing. This is the bearing type 2608Z. For the bearing, when they have both sides cover, so always end it with the letter Z. So this bearing 6208Z, it means that the bearing is closed type. Other bearing without this code, without C code on the end of the bearing, it is open type. So this is the grease up. For this closed type bearing, it is not necessary greasing up. Anyway, the replacement of the motor bearing, it should be around 5 years or about 60 months in order to make sure that the bearing is under condition. So every 5 years or 60 months to be replaced this kind of bearing. But for this motor, actually it is running just around 1 year, about 1 year, but bearing now already damaged. And we have prepared this new bearing with the same type 6208Z NTF bearing. To assemble this bearing, it is necessary to heating to make it a little bit expand, so will be easy to it's up to the shaft of the motor.
The heating treatment for the new spare bearing is using ball bearing heater, or if there is no bearing heater, you can using high voltage lamp bulb, 500 watt or more. About 2 or 3 minutes is enough. Do not give too much heat treatment for the ball bearing, especially for the closed type ball bearing. Otherwise, the grease inside of ball bearing will melt it. Clean all the parts of the motor, remove all the dirt and corroded part. When necessary to use emery clothes, use the very soft grit grade. 1000 grit or more is required. This is to avoid any reducing of the diameter of the motor part like shaft, bearing housing, and so on. Anyway, thanks for watching my video. We will continue to clean all the electric motor part properly, then assemble the motor. And next, please watch part 2 video for reassembling electric motor, running test, and put back newly replaced ball bearing electric motor. If you have any advice, suggestion, or question, please leave on the comment below. Thank you from the Antonio Project. Bye.